Mankind may testify in time to come that it wasn't man that did it, that they had no strength of their own, they had no army, they had no weapons. All they had was the gospel of truth and of redemption. And behold, because their hearts and their minds were clean, because the Almighty found them unblemished, that was why they were blessed, and everything they asked for came to pass. That was why this same generation, this very Ipob shall endure, for flesh cannot be mortalized, but the truth of the Most High, who is timeless, who is ageless, shall prevail. And upon that very promise do we pray this evening, because your words are yea and amen. People wonder, how come you loved David so much? Man couldn't understand that David knew how to ask thee for anything that he wants. There was nothing that David ever asked for that he didn't give to him. That same secret is what we have. That is what we present before thee, to the hearing of the entirety of humanity this very evening, morning, noon or night, depending on where you're listening from. That we make this proclamation that your words are yea and amen, because you are God. Anything you say must come to pass. You are not man. Anytime, any word that you utter, documented by the sons of men in the Torah, in the scriptures, must come to pass. Because your spirit, you are not man, you are not mortal. Every word you utter must come to pass. And on that very premise do we anchor this very agitation. Because we go back to your scriptures, to your unadulterated, untampered with scriptures. In the book of Jeremiah we pray, chapter 16, verse 14. That is our prayer this very evening from where I am. You said, for you are Lord, you are God, you are the beginning and the end. There is nothing you created which can be equated nor used as an adjective to describe thee. You are bigger than all that man can ever imagine that you are. Only you is the beginning of time itself. That is why the ancients call you the Ancient of Days, the Ancients of the Ancients. For that is who you are. The I am that I am. And these are your words because you're God. You said that a time is coming. According to the prophet Jeremiah, you said that a time is coming, and that time is now, this 2020. You said the time is coming when people will no longer swear by me as the living God who brought the house of Israel out of bondage in Egypt. These are your words because you're God. You said a time shall come when people will no longer swear that this God of Moses, that led the God of Moshe, that led the Israelites out of the bondage and suffering in Egypt. Instead, these are your words, O Heavenly Father, with every reverence, humility, and submission. You said, instead they will swear by me as the living who brought his people out of the northern lands, out of the bondage from the north. For we inhabit the south. We are from the southeast. Oh, Heavenly Father, you said, no longer will we remember you as the God of miracles that brought Israelites out of Egypt. We shall know thee as the God that delivered his children from the criminals and darkness from the north. These are your words. And you were talking about Biafra. We are now going to swear by thy name and say, this God of Biafra that led his children out of the iniquitous existence which Britain fabricated for your children. And you said we are going to return from where you scattered us, from where they are killing us in Indonesia, from where they are killing us in Malaysia, from where we have been imprisoned in Brazil, from all the places we are suffering, all the places where we are being humiliated at the moment. You said, I will bring you back to your own country, to the land that I gave your ancestors, because I am God and I have spoken. And who is man to say no to the word of God? Or they cannot go. Upon this we anchor all that we do. We have no strength of our own. Upon your promise that came forth from the mouth of the prophet Jeremiah 16:14, you said, I will deliver you from the bondage from the north. The world will no longer say, this God of Moshe that led the Israelites out of Egypt. They will say, the God of Biafra that delivered them from the forces of darkness from the north. You were very specific. You said from the north. And you are God, and may your name be blessed forever and ever. He said,
Hello, my wonderful people of Biafra, friends of Biafra, and lovers of freedom. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and good night to some of us, depending your time, location. This is Mazi Zume Zunwe Kwesu. Please, as I welcome you to this wonderful edition, please welcome others. It's very important. As I welcome you to this wonderful edition, please welcome others. It's very important. We are live at our various platform. We are live at Ikechukwu Omadi Izumezu. Please, if you are watching us from there, please hit the like button and share the program. Don't bother what Facebook is doing. Don't bother how many people they are showing on the screen, how many numbers they are showing on the screen. Don't bother. Believe me, thousands are watching us. I'm telling you, I must be honest with you. No matter no matter what Facebook is doing to frustrate us, we say no to it. We will be the one to frustrate Facebook, not Facebook to frustrate us, because the message, our message is gospel. Our message is for freedom of people. So we are live at Mazi Zume Kwensu. This page is still going. Please follow me on this page at Mazi Zume Kwensu. It's very important. We're also live at our YouTube, Ikechukwu Ezumezu. Please, if you have not subscribed at our YouTube, please endeavor to subscribe at our YouTube and share our program. It's very important. TikTok, believe me, we are going up in TikTok. And I thank you all that's heard my voice and listening to what I'm saying. Please follow me up on TikTok at Ezumezu Ikechukwu, and I will follow you back. We are going up. We are 300 and something people there. So please follow me up on TikTok at Ezumezu Ikechukwu. Is very important. And my wonderful people, this program today is going to take time. If you are not discharged, please recharge. Those of you in Biafra land, get enough data, because we are going to talk a lot and play a lot of videos. You know, my program, I like when I say things, I bring out evidence. This is very important. That's why my program is different. And that is why I don't put phone number on my screen to call. Because the moment I put phone number, I paste my phone number, you will see a lot of calls will be coming in. Those that know what they are saying and those that don't know what they are saying. That's why in this our little platform, we don't welcome lies. We don't welcome propaganda. We don't welcome blackmail. Whatever we tell you, whatever you hear from us, take it to bank. And we always open doors for questioning. We will always open doors for a debate. So that is why. And if you want to come in, you come in and your camera must be open. Yes, the other time, it was yesterday, we allow our brother in Biafra land to, to talk to us why his camera was closed, because he told us that he's in Biafra land, and we all know what is going on in Biafra land. So we allow him to cover his camera to talk to us. But if you are outside Biafra land and you want to talk to us, your camera must be open. But what we are doing here, we don't blackmail people, we don't lie against people, and we don't set a lot of propaganda. And I always tell you guys, I'm not a broadcaster, but the reason why I'm here is for justice. Those that don't have that platform to speak, we are defending them. we are bringing you guys the truth. And today, on our Facebook post, today, Mazi Nnamdi was on the mountain playing. We have debunked that lie and destroyed it. We have debunked that lie. Today, Mazi Kanu is not a brother to Mazi Nnamdi. I hate the debunk go that I hate to go to Mulombo. Today, it is that honor and what you lie. That honor what you say, we're not confessing. They don't have fear. Today, we will also push them to tell you guys that they're supposed to have meeting on 19th of July 2021. As you say it, and other people. So we will this our little platform. We will use it to debunk all those lies, all those blackmail against innocent people. So as you come in, please hit the like button, share the program. Don't care about the number of people you are seeing on screen. Facebook, they can do as much as they want, but they are not going to stop us because we are the determined people. We are determined people. So my people, I about you also. Is very, very important. I about you also. Now, we're going to play a lot of videos for things that happened for Nigerians that calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's very, very important. That is why I told these distracted media worms that they have come and gone. They cannot raise their ugly head anymore. Those that brag on that they have platform, they have this platform, they have this and this. All those lies that they use that their platform to dish out to Biafrans. We have debunked all those lies, and they are not raising their ugly head again. Where is Chibuze Guatu today? I'm asking you guys, where is Chibuze Guatu? Also, where is China Sawankita? China Sawankita, your gullible followers are waiting for you to talk to them. Come on radio. Come and talk. Don't be on Twitter. No? Come on radio. They want to listen to your blackmail again. Or you see that all those lies have not healed any fruits. All those your blackmail for years have not healed any fruit. That all those your propaganda, your lies, since 2021 up to date, we have destroyed them. Ezokwa putago, ikuke kugo, amago na afala na eji trouser. Ikuke kugo, afogi koko kanya. Are you ashamed of yourself? China Sawankita. Are you ashamed of yourself? And Biafrans, you can see their fire they have bring out. So again, let me see if we can lay our hand on this fire. You guys should be very, very aware of these criminals because they are criminals. I repeat, they are criminals. Let me see if we can see this fire. If we can lay our hand on this their fire. Ndoshi. They want to see what they can do to, because they know that onion is coming out soon. Biafrans, please, when you come across this fire, when you come across this fire, it's criminals. Top it, the cabal from Lazy, Australia. Please be aware about this fire. Don't give them your money. I am going to hear. We tell you guys the truth. Don't go there and give them your money because anything you there will go now. I ask, please ask Chika Paul Doziem what happened in Italy? How about our international account in Italy? Who hijacked the account? All the money there, what did they do with the money? It's very, very important. It's very, very important. Ask Chika Paul Eduzeme again. The money in South Africa welfare account, they took away 300,000 rounds. Can you imagine the money we made? Ask Chika Paul Eduzeme again. All the money from Asia and South America for 2 years plus now, what are they doing with all this money? Ask Chika Paul Eduzeme again. In Europe, all the whole money in Europe, where did the money we made? They are calling you guys to come and do fundraising in Australia. Well, Mazi, I'm here to tell you the fact, but I cannot stop you where you want to put your money. Each every 18 years ago, go and ask Ebonyendu Sigiti Yegogu, Joaju Ebonyendu Sigiti Yegogu, the account that Madame Nene is aware. Put your money there. After all, I'm Monye Diego Ipob. And when you talk about the money, the person that is in charge of money in Ipob is Madame Nene. Now, ask Chika Paul Eduzeme, who is in charge? Who is in charge of since 2 years plus? Who is in charge of Ipob money? Can you ask Chika Paul Eduzeme? Can you ask Tony One Bottle? Who is in charge? Well, it's up to you. It's up to you guys. But I'm here to tell you guys the truth. And nothing more. If you want to put your money, it's left for you. I did not make the money for you. Oh, maybe 18 years ago. But my duty here is to tell you guys the truth. This is my duty. Now, let me take this out because I have a lot of things to talk about today. I will come to this later. First of all, we have to talk about the people that are calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Therefore, remember what I told you guys that Egwe change ago. Since that statement Onyendu made in court, since that statement Onyendu educates the judges Bistanyako, that educates him, telling him that you cannot judge me out of your constitution. Since that day, Onyendu called Nigeria, the prosecutor from Nigeria, the son. Onyendu said, you are a terrorist. I did not call you a terrorist, but your constitution said so. Onyendu changed early on. And people have understood that Nigeria government cannot jail Mazi Nnamdi, that what Mazi Nnamdi is fighting is for his people. That they have realized that Mazi Nnamdi have not break any law. That it was them, Nigeria government that broke their laws, not Mazi Nnamdi. And Onyendu said, and he said to Bintanyako, and I quote, I will defeat Nigeria government in your court. And guess what? Bintanyako have look. Bintanyako there's no way that they can hold Mazi Nnamdi. And that is why Bintanyako asked federal government for them to settle out of the court. Bintanyako says, I wanted to settle out of the court. And I told you guys, do you think that is Bintanyako idea? It was federal government that come through Bintanyako to ask for settlement outside the court, to ask for dialogue, because they have waited since all those while. They thought by now that Ipob will be destroyed, but never. And that is Ipob. They have waited for this enemy within, as Mazi Nnamdi said. The Nigerian government have waited for them for past 3 years to see if they will destroy this movement. At the end of the day, Nigerian government discovered that they can never destroy this movement, and that's why they came through the back door, through Bintanyako, to ask Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for a land table discussion. For a land table discussion. And remember, Onyendo have been saying this for a very long time. If you go to war, you will end up in a land table. If you don't go to war, you will end up in a land table. This is what Nigerian government is doing now. They want to come to the land table through Bintanyako. And we say, okay, we welcome it. We welcome the idea. But I want people to take away that mentality that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to compromise. I want you guys to take away that mentality, because this is the mentality Chinasa Wankita and Jonathan Chinedu is projecting to Biafrans. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you know yesterday, is still Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you know today and tomorrow. It never change. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you know yesterday, that voice, where Batana this struggle, you see the same voice in today. It never change. It never change. Or it never change at all. And that is why the whole Southeast, the governors, the House of Rep, the senators, the stakeholders, the church leaders, the traditional rulers, they are calling the list of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That tells you all you need to know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for a just cause. Very, very important. Now, let's go to the first video we're going to play today. Let's go to the first video we're going to play. We will play today. Hold on.
Lawyer Kenneth Okonkwo joins us now to discuss the outcome of the Southeast Governors meeting in Enugu State and how to strengthen interstate ties and improve regional security. He will also discuss the anti-grazing bill and restructuring. Thanks so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you very much, and thank you, view.
So, dear fans, before we are right to go, most of you have come across it. Most of us have not come across it. If I say Nigerians have called the list of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, this is one of it. This is one of it. We all know Kenneth Okonkwo, aka Andy. The film that brought him to a right mark is was it what is this film? Living in Bondage. All film brought there out to the limelight. We all know that Kenneth Okonkwo is against Biafra's struggle. We all know that Kenneth Okonkwo, popularly known as Andy, is against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We know. Everybody, we know about that. We know that Kenneth Okonkwo believes in so much in Nigeria. But today, that the same man that is against our struggle is the same person that called the list of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Anya ka na agwa unu. That ọnụ kọrọ ogiri ọnụ, ihe emecha wee kọrọ ogiri wee gịnị wee lacha. Biafra is spiritual. Andy Okonkwo, no more Andy Okonkwo. Andy Okonkwo is against our movement. Andy Okonkwo is against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But today, Andy Okonkwo have also joined the voice calling the list of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let's listen to him. Let's listen to him.
As for tuning in.
So let's start, with the Southeast Governors meeting. What are your thoughts on their resolve to meet with President Bola Tinubu over Nnamdi Kanu's predicament?
Well, basically, political issues and political prisoners have always been treated in a very different way from the ordinary criminals on the road. When you are in government, you have to display a lot of wisdom in handling political issues. I'll give you an example. United States had already cornered Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, who they accused of leaking some classified document that embarrassed United States. But they also realized that they had to make a balance between free speech, between the freedom of journalists and trying to bring a journalist to trial. They know that Russia is holding some of their citizens who are journalists and they are trying to bring espionage charge against them. Knowing this, they know that even if they bring this man to the United States, they will still, face some backlash. They now went through wisdom and did a plea bargain and released this man from jail and allowed him to get back to Australia. Nnamdi Kanu has not done anything that other people from other zones have not done. We know about Sunday Igboho, of the Yoruba nation agitator. We know of the Boko Haram people that say they want a different country where Western education is an abomination. These people have been released. Not just that they have been released. In the case of Boko Haram, they've been re-assimilated to the society, given plum jobs, even in our military. They've been given money and been resuscitated, reconciled, and rehabilitated. Why is Nnamdi Kanu's case different? There is an ethnic and some unnecessary bias that is keeping that man in jail. The government should be wise enough to release this man. You can use the Julian Assange option. If you don't want to say you are losing face, you can release him conditionally. You can release him unconditionally. As a lawyer, I've watched the legal issues very clearly. And I saw that even in the courts, from the High Court to the Supreme Court, there are discordant tones amongst them. Even in the issue of bail, some of the tier of the courts are granted him bail. Even in the issue of the charges, some tier of the court had quashed all the charges. So you can see that the government has a lot of places it can stand to release the young man and bring peace to the Southeast. He is now more like a political prisoner. I tell you something, the longer Nnamdi Kanu is in prison, the taller he becomes and the shorter the government becomes. They should take the intelligent way out of this and release him like they did to other people. Rehabilitate him and reconcile him as they are reconciling Southeast completely to the nation.
I'm glad you brought up that Julian Assange case because analysts have been looking into the similarities between these two cases. And what stuck out with me majorly is the fact that Nnamdi Kanu fled bail back in 2017, much like Julian Assange. But what it seems right now is it's more of a political situation with Nnamdi Kanu. With Julian Assange,
every time, why every time I'm amazed, I'm surprised for this journalist. Every time they talk about Mazi freed bail, but the same a court in Nigeria have told them that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not jump any bail. That Mazi Nnamdi run away for his life. A court, a judicial court in Nigeria have established this judgment. Every time this journalist will be saying all this nonsense, because they know that even though if they took them to court, it was the same Nigerian government that they will come to defend them. If not, I expect our MK team of lawyers to always, Sue them. Use one or two people to show example. It's very important. Yeah, let's continue.
And it seemed that the potentness or the pungentness of his crimes seemed to deteriorate as the world grew and as time went on and more leaks like this happened. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, some could argue that him staying in jail, of course it's unfortunate, but him being released would also lead to some unintended consequences in terms of an escalation of violence. This is allegedly, etc., and the reigniting of his followers who seem to be scattered all over the world and seem to be a bit of a thorn in the flesh of individuals who have been suffering the sit-at-home orders and all the other violence that has come about. How will they be able to balance those two equations of keeping him in jail, which is worse, keeping him in jail or letting him out and potential violence escalating? What are your thoughts on that?
My thought is this. I brought the Julian Assange issue just to tell you that the government can use wisdom and bring about situation where they will tell him, you've spent so and so time in detention. Let us count it for you as any punitive measure for whatever they may say he had done. Allow him to plea to any minor offense that will suit that number of time he has already stayed and release him. That's why I brought the Julian Assange. That's wisdom. Then secondly, you can release him conditionally and tell him, look, this will bring crisis if we release you. No responsible government will say, let us release you when we have not gotten a commitment from you that you will no longer go along this line. The young man had said that he is willing to negotiate, that he is willing to talk. So you talk to him. That is releasing him conditionally. Then the third one is releasing him unconditionally. So you have a choice, but the three of them will land in releasing him. The most important thing is that the government checks the cost-benefit analysis in whatever it is doing. And I can tell you that the benefit of releasing him, if you can make him to get commitment on what you want him to do after releasing him, will be better than keeping him. Because keeping him has not solved the security situation in the Southeast. It has not stopped the agitation. As a matter of fact, it is making even the agitation to now be multifaceted, to now be unknown. That's why you hear the unknown gunmen. So it's more difficult to tackle. So releasing him, in my own opinion, will be better off now than keeping him. The benefit of releasing him will be better than the cost. So you negotiate with him, know the best option, and release him.
Now, Mr. Okonkwo, talking about the issue of security, the governor's also resolved to tackle insecurity in the Southeast. But that's a bit vague when we consider what's been happening in that region over the years. So what measures would you advise must be taken by the governors, the federal government, to tackle insecurity in Southeast?
So, dear fans, this is Kenneth Okonkwo, his own calling. He had the voice for calling of this of Mazi and Kanu. If you follow him closely, watch what he said. If you also notice that Kenneth Okonkwo believe in Nigeria project 100%. The reason why he was calling this of Mazi and Kanu because he have seen that million years on. Na that is the reason why Kenneth Okonkwo joined the voice. But we welcome it. We welcome it. Remember what I said before. Asking that now. I want to get about 40 to 50 our politicians by our side. The less people will force to join us, or they will go to or they will flee up, they will flee out, they will go on exile. So Kenneth Okonkwo believes so much in Nigeria project, and he had his he added his voice for calling of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because Mbila Kalewago won. You have seen the danger because you can see he don't even talk about what we are passing through in Nigeria project, what Igbos are passing through. You know, he did not even talk about the problem that related to us. The reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu take up the agitation. He did not even mention about it. But the reason why he joined the voice is because he have seen that there's no two ways about it. It's just to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for that peace to reign in that part of the world, part of the Nigeria. Because I want a peace that the law. We are seeing people taking the ceremony is supposed to do in Southeast to another land. We saw the case of Chioma and others. So onye ka nna agwa bakwela uno ka eburu n'oge wee chụọ ewu ojii before Chaba na-ejie. So Kenneth Okonkwo, you are welcome. In as much we know that you don't believe in what you believe, but adding your voice is a welcome development. We welcome it. And we say, Biafrans are saying, thank you. You're a barrister. Thank you, barrister. But Nigeria did not belong to you. Nigeria don't belong to you. Let's go home. Now, let's bring about Ben Obi, Senator Ben Obi. Let's hear what Ben Obi will talk about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because Senator Ben Obi have also called for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let's listen to Senator Ben Obi. It's very important. No? Hold on. Let's go there.
First tonight to the continued incarceration of the Ipob leader Nnamdi Kanu, something that's increasingly becoming a scar on the conscience of Nigeria. With more people now seeing Mr. Kanu as a political prisoner, the issue is turning into a defining moment in this country's march towards democracy and the rule of law, beyond, of course, the devastating insecurity and economic destruction that it's wreaking on the southeast region. But now the governors of the zone say they're stepping in to appeal directly to President Tinubu to set the captive free to help stem the growing tide of insecurity in the region, which seems to be overpowering even the governors themselves. But they are not alone. Just a week ago, increasing concern about the fate of the separatist leader moved dozens of federal lawmakers across party and ethnic lines to write to President Tinubu calling for his urgent release, certain that his freedom will not only calm the fraught security situation in the southeast, but will lead to an economic renaissance, boosting the image of President Tinubu. So what difference is this high-level intervention by both governors and lawmakers on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu likely to make?
The forum deliberated on the reviewed report of the Southeast Security and Economic Summit held in Owerri on the 28th September 2023 and agreed to implement the aspects of the report pertaining to security and economic integration of the region, and affirmed its desire to put actionable plans on the key issues agreed. The forum resolved to visit Mr. President to discuss the pressing issues, all pressing issues concerning the Southeast region. The forum also deliberated and resolved to interface with the federal government to secure the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
And that's Governor Hope Uzodimma there, who was speaking for the... More on this, I'm joined now on the line from here in Abuja by the former vice presidential running mate to Atiku Abubakar in 2007, Senator Ben Obi, who's also the chairman of the Governing Council of the American University of Nigeria in Yola. Thank you very much indeed, Senator Obi, for joining us. I know you've got a little bit of a problem with sort of the dying embers of malaria, so thank you for taking the time and agreeing to talk to us. So you heard a bit of that clip there from Governor Hope Uzodimma, the governor's resolving to interface with the president, to use Mr. Uzodimma's words, to try to secure the release of Nnamdi Kanu. What's your reaction to that?
Thank you very much, Charles, and a very good evening to Nigerians. And, I'm glad you have me on this program this evening. First of all, I must salute the candid performance of solidarity exhibited by President Obasanjo, Secretary General Emeka Yoku, the Obi of Onitsha, and the President of Ohaneze in showing solidarity with the governors of the Southeast in quest of pursuing the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Various bodies have spoken in favor of his release. You will recall that Pa Edwin Clark has spoken again and again. Pa Adebanjo has spoken. The courts also spoke. Ohaneze again and again has spoken. I do believe that the best interest of every and any government is where it is possible to secure peace and tranquility. And if there is anybody that will contribute immensely in securing peace and tranquility in any region or zone, our duty is to encourage to have that person play that role. More so when the issue at hand is more to do with somebody considered to be a political captive. But I'm happy also that the governors of the Southeast region finally came together, amongst other matters, deliberated on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and have agreed to work hand in gloves in meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in resolving the issue. I must confess I have a good relationship with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I know how he operates politically. I think he listens, and I believe that he still listens. I do not see, if all these great Nigerians have come together, calling upon him as the commander-in-chief to let Nnamdi Kanu off the hook, I do not believe he would not listen to them. I believe very strongly that the president I know will listen to these great minds and let Nnamdi Kanu off the hook, so we can try and resolve the security implications in the Southeast.
Right,
And
okay.
in addition to all of that,
Right.
I just want you to know that when a child is crying and pointing the finger in one direction, it's either the father or the mother is in that direction. All of us are saying the same thing. Let Nnamdi Kanu be free. And I don't think we can all be stupid at the same time. So I want to plead, join hands with the governors of the Southeast Forum to plead with President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to do the needful.
Right. Thank you for that, that opening sort of assessment from you. And you described Nnamdi Kanu as a political captive. Those were your words earlier. Would you say that he is now seen as more of a political prisoner than someone who is a criminal, as some have suggested, in which case, if he is a political prisoner, it would be easier to intercede on his behalf?
Well, the point of departure here is that the courts have set Nnamdi Kanu free, right? So if he is a political prisoner or criminal, then it is the duty of the court to say so loud and clear. But the Court of Appeal, in its wisdom, has said to Nnamdi Kanu, go home and sin no more, if he had sinned. But then the voice of the people, they say the voice of God. Everybody has spoken from the east, from the west, from the north. People are speaking, saying, let him be, so that there can be some peace in that region. Recently, we saw the release of Sunday Boer. Maybe that will help the Southwest. It is believed that it will help. And we can see that some of the crises in the Southwest had reduced. So if we have such people in all the zones and we think and feel they can help the zones to get out of the state of insecurity, so be it. And I think that's really the point we're making here. I mean, Nnamdi Kanu has been in incarceration now going to about 5 years. He should not be allowed to just go there and lavish for nothing.
Right. Well, let me just come in there because
if there is a case, if there's a case, they should go and pursue the case in court effectively.
Well, I mean,
but then he has been freed by the court of law.
Yeah, I mean, they would argue that they are pursuing the case, but as you pointed out, a court has to a large extent quashed at least some of the charges against Mr. Kanu. Do you think that that gives, because oftentimes we hear the presidents, I mean, we heard Buhari say that quite a lot, that the courts the law must take its course, and the courts, it's up to the courts and so on. Do you think that quashing of some of the charges gives the president and the attorney general the legal basis for getting Mr. Kanu out? That's the legal, if you like, opt-out clause that can legally justify Mr. Kanu's release?
I do believe, Charles, and I'm serious about this, if you remove that dot in the circle and you think about the urgency in putting an end to the state of insecurity in a particular zone, I believe that between the Commander-in-Chief and the Attorney General of the Federation, an amicable resolution of this matter can be achieved. And it comes to, a win-win situation for all sides. Now, I saw a report earlier today that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says he's willing to abide by whatever rules and regulations are given to him for his release. I'm also sure that the governors of the Southeast, working hand in gloves with Ohaneze, will be prepared to take to go into some undertakings about, you know, the situation with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when released.
Right. Well, I'm just going to come in there briefly. How do we know, Senator Obi, that Nnamdi Kanu still has the capacity to rein in his followers and members of Ipob? Because, I mean, everybody keeps saying that if he's released, it will lessen insecurity in the southeast. I mean, he could potentially have lost his place in the movement, and therefore any, any clout that he can wield in terms of influence may not be there anymore.
Well, I happen to know that
Biafrans, I want to take it back again. I want you to listen very, very good to the question through to Ben Obi by the host, and Ben Obi did not even answer him because he knows where he's going. And this is what Nigerian government for the past years are doing. Dave Umahi said that he will create a parallel IPOB. And they have waited for the years to see if there is any that will make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu irrelevant to his people. And they found out that there's no one. That is why they are making U-turn 360 degrees for asking through the back door, through Bintanyako, for a roundtable discussion. They have tried by all means, the enemy within and the enemy external, to make sure if they will break Mazi Nnamdi Kanu influence to his people. But the answer, the more they go on it, the more people show love to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let's take this question back. I want you guys to listen. And I will also play a video again. Another man, another journalist from another channel asking the same question to another spokesman. I want you guys to just put this question down. Now, I want you guys, let me take it back a bit. Okay? Let's go.
Now, I saw a report earlier today that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says he's willing to abide by whatever rules and regulations are given to him for his release. I'm also sure that the governors of the Southeast, working hand in gloves with Ohaneze, will be prepared to take to go into some undertakings about, you know, the situation with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when released.
Right. Well, I'm just going to come in there briefly. How do we know, Senator Obi, that Nnamdi Kanu still has the capacity to rein in his followers and members of Ipob? Because, I mean, everybody keeps saying that if he's released, it will lessen insecurity in the southeast. I mean, he could potentially have lost his place in the movement, and therefore any any clout that he can wield in terms of influence may not be there anymore.
The Evans, do you listen to it? This is their game plan. He was asking Ben Obi, take us where man that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with the capacity, can with the influence over his people. Take us where man that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can control this. Take us where man on a Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can lose the influence over his people or his people have not lose influence on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is their game plan. We have their game plan for a very long time. For these years, they are searching to see who will match Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to see who we run shoulder to shoulder with our leader, to see who will be on top. But guess what? At the end of the day, they are both they are both get locked. At the end of the day, we take a tipa buaja. Nobody can match Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody can match him. Sometimes I na-afụ Simon Ekpa opposed to trending issue, opposed to your secular land that's on the trend they carry Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I was laughing. You are comparing yourself, somebody not inside the SS done for going to 4 years and going outside. And that person self, now March self, now the other time opposed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is it 36,000 something or no, or 260,000 something. You know, we are not 400,000. All those things, they are just searching to see who can match our leader. And the same Simon Ekpa now go by that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he will come to Finland for him to hand over Biafra government in exile to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Oga, the day your Biafra government in exile, we don't need it. The day I'm happy that you have your own movement. You are a leader in your own movement. Take it. This is what we want. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu once said, he will abandon his own and join you. So people like us, we believe on what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. And we also believe that anyone who will rise up tomorrow to have his own movement, we welcome it. But at the end of the day, I am already delayed. So if we're expecting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come to Finland, one day, do your thing. Let's be going. Oh, very soon. I am. Because nothing lasts forever. I am, man. Let's continue. So
well, I happen to know that when the President General of Ohanese, Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwayon, was going to visit with Nnamdi Kanu, he had called me to accompany him, but unfortunately I was not in the country, so I did not accompany him. I couldn't accompany him as a result of that. But like I said, when a child is crying and pointing the finger in one direction, it's either the father or the mother of that child is there. So when everybody is saying, let Nnamdi Kanu be released, be put out of the hook, so that there can be a decrease in the insecurity in the Southeast, they cannot all be saying something wrong. There must be something what they are saying and what they are seeing. Right. So you don't. It's not that Nnamdi Kanu. It's not that Nnamdi Kanu 100% will solve the state of insecurity in the Southeast, but he will contribute immensely.
Right. So you don't
in
think
resolving
that
the state of insecurity.
Right. You don't think that the converse might be the case, and we're just playing the devil's advocate here. You don't think the converse might be the case that his release might serve to reinforce the ideology of his followers and perhaps reignite their secessionist agitations?
Well, Nnamdi Kanu is human. He has gone through these years of incarceration, and I'm sure it's a lesson. I'm also sure those who are agitating maybe are doing so still because Nnamdi Kanu is still under incarceration. By the time we all agree and work together and we'll have all hands on deck and we are all on the same page, it surely will be an easier approach to the problems. But since we are singing from different directions now, that's the problem. So I believe in moving forward, let us all be on the same page. Let us agree with what the elder statesmen have said from across the country. Let us agree with what the Pandef, Afenifere, Ohanese, and the Southeast Governors Forum have said, and work in that direction.
Right.
Let's give it a try.
Right. And I presume that's what they're trying to do. But talking about those Southeast governors, is it your sense that they have the negotiating capacity and the clout? Because I mean, this is now, I mean, they're trying to put it basically at the foot of President Tinubu. Is it your sense that they have the negotiating capacity and the clout to really move this issue forward and get it to the top of the president's in tray?
Well, I believe that having reached this point where they have made this pronouncement, and knowing full well that the Southeast has been saying, requesting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, they are governing us. They are our governors. They are not an island unto themselves. Some of us have direct links and contacts with them. So we believe that now that they have come out to make a specific demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, we all must work together, hands in gloves, with Ohaneze, which is the governing body of Ndibo home and in diaspora, to do the needful. And to believe that Nnamdi Kanu, too, as the true son of Igbo land, will listen to what the leaders are saying and also join us in doing what is right. What is important and very, very key is that we need to address the state of insecurity in the Southeast. And in addressing the state of insecurity, from my own knowledge and experience, means that we all have to be on the same page. That is the bottom line.
Okay, Senator Ben Obi, I want to thank you very much indeed for joining us and for being very forthright in expressing your opinion and your assessment there. And also, I wish you speedy recovery, because I know you're a little bit under the weather there. But of course, Senator Ben Obi
Yeah. So sorry, my people. No, it was network, but we are back. We are back. I hope you can hear my voice. Please, if you can hear me, please write something. Let me see some comments. Because I was just kicked out, but we are back again. I believe we are. If you can hear me, please, you can write something on YouTube, on Facebook. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mazi Chiezoku, you are welcome, sir. Okay. Thank you so much. Come on. So this is Senator Ben Obi, adding his voice for calling of news of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We all see the answers he gave to to the host, to the journalist, even the one he used a political tool to give him an answer. We welcome him. We welcome Senator Ben Obi. No, and you can hear even that question he asks. He asks him. Ben Obi did not even give him answer to the question, because this is what they want. Are you sure Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can control the people? Are you sure the people are still with him? But this is what they have been looking for a very long time. But federal government have found that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have no match, that people are still love. People love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Ipob across Igbo land. And we naturally love Ipob. Now, let's also bring this video up, because we are going to bring in videos for people that are calling the list of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so that the whole world, we know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent. He's fighting for his people. And at the end, I'm going to bring the program between a person and a Yoruba man. So, but let's listen to this first a bit before we can go to that. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Let's listen to this first again.
As part of these, about 50 members of the House of Representatives spread across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country have appealed to President Bola Tinubu to use his constitutional powers to release the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, Nnamdi Kanu, from detention. Now in Kenya, East Africa, President William Ruto has bowed to public pressure and agreed to withdraw the controversial finance bill that sparked widespread protest and mass unrest across the country. This is Standpoint. I am Precious Amayu.
I want to also tell you that what we have
Act 2015 and caused the release of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended, and Section 107, subsection 1 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 to release the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, Nnamdi Kanu, from the custody of the Department of State Services. In a letter addressed to President Tinubu dated 19th of June, the lawmakers elected on the platform of different political parties urged the number 1 citizen to commence a peace move to address rising insecurity in the southeast. Some of the signatories of the 3-page letter include Obi Agwocha from Abia State, Ikenga Wuchiri from Imo State, Afam Ogene from Anambra State, Mohammed Jajere from Yobe State, Aliyu Mustafa from Kaduna State, Medela Balami from Borno State, and Abiante Awaji Nombek from Rivers State. The lawmakers in the letter urged President Tinubu to mandate the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi-San, to invoke his powers under the provisions of Section 174, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and Section 107, subsection 1 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, and caused the release of Nnamdi Kanu from detention and discontinue his trial. But recall that the president extended this gesture through the office of the Attorney General to Omoyele Sowore, who was charged with treasonable felony. Now, this came after Kanu expressed his desire to have the treason charges filed against him by the federal government settled out of court. Now, joining me for in-depth discussion on this matter is a member of the House of Representatives representing Enugu East, Isi-Uzo constituency of Enugu State, Professor Paul Nnamdi. Good to have you join us, Professor Nnamdi.
Thank you. Nice having me. Nice to be here.
So before we get into this request by the 50 lawmakers, this particular case has been on for years, from the time where he was first arraigned, I think that was 2015, to when he was, rearraigned in 2021 after he had, they said he had jumped bail. there had been attempts at political solution. What happened in those situations?
No,
Is
are
the
you
question?
Are you with me? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, okay. I think most times activities will have a remote and immediate, but for now we're facing on what we're dwelling on is not now on the past because we want to have a solution, a final solution to it. But I want to also tell you that what we have, it is let us take politics completely away from this and look at it from the security angle, which I also think that the present administration has been trying to quell the insecurity in the country. In doing this, there is a kinetic and non-kinetic approach. What those of us in the National Assembly have been doing, and what the current administration will be doing through the CDS, which I know, have been using both kinetic and non-kinetic means. Just from a few days back, there was this number of terrorists have been killed over the past 1 year. That is true. That has been working. But at the same time, it hasn't given us the required, it's not an all-out complete approach. So what we're advocating is to also apply the non-kinetic approach, which the Chief of Defense Staff also has also been advocating for. That is not just one. And is quite close to, is a person quite close to me. What I know closely, and he has achieved a lot with this approach. We're advocating that in this his release with that form of non-kinetic approach. Let us just know what is happening, whether it is just some criminal element working or the other. So if you don't release him, it's difficult for you to ascertain who is exactly the people responsible. And I've also heard from people around Nnamdi that he doesn't support insecurity in the southeast. But how will you be sure when he's not being released? You can only be sure if he's released. You now know what the motive of, if there is any other thing happening, insecurity happening, you will not find out what is the motive. Do you understand me? That is, we are not dwelling on the past, whether jumping bail or how it happened, or what led to it. What we are looking at, the security aspect, you say the whole government approach.
If I may come in, Professor Nnamdi, just a minute. My question was not necessarily about him jumping bail. My question was, there have been several attempts at an out-of-court settlement by elders of the Southeast. They had even gone to see, I think it was the President Buhari at that time. But it looked like nothing came out of that meeting, and I was asking why. Is it that the previous administration was not open to an out-of-court settlement, or there were agreements or conditions that were not met? That was the question.
No, I'm not aware of any condition that was met or that was not met. And I'm not aware, I was in the lecture room as a professor at University of Nigeria in Nsukka when Buhari was in the power. So I'm not in the know of what's the framework of the government then. But now I'm just looking at what it is that this particular government is looking at, and what, as a lawmaker joining in the whole government approach towards security or insecurity in the country, because it's everybody's business. It's both the press business to also offer security for our people. It is also the business of the religious bodies. It is also the business of the traditional rulers. So it is business of the legislature actually, and the executive to have, and the judiciary of course, to have peace in the land. It is in that aspect we are coming. Personally, I'm coming. I'm not going on the political solution. No. It is not. This is not time for politics. It's a time for governance. But security is everyday activity. Security is every man's business. The best approach to it is follow either you do it as much as you're doing the kinetic approach. You also follow the non-kinetic. Both of them go hand in hand. And going hand in hand means that I just want things about him to leave the table of politics and come to the table of tackling insecurity in our southeast, in the southeast, and also just as well as tackling security in the whole country. This is a peaceful place. We need unity, we need peace, we need, and no development happens in a place that is insecure. People will be afraid to come. And I've also known from just as I said, that he himself, from the information I've gathered around him, and professionally, I also think that he's not in support of insecurity in the southeast. And I also think that when he comes out,
how are you so sure? How are these lawmakers? I think about 50 of you. How are you so sure that the release of Nnamdi Kanu will guarantee security in the southeast?
Most of the time, when people are accosted somehow, what they also say is that they are doing this because he's in detention. They are doing this because it's this and that. And it's very easy to brainwash people with this type of activities. That because this is far, of course, he has a group that he leads. That is not just a small group, but at the same time, if those groups are being agitated based on one reason or the other, the only thing we can do is to find out, is this this has happened over some years now, that we now have the option. Please, why don't we get him out first and look at what other reasons? You will now know if there is any other reason where there is insecurity or not. Because that's the only reason people say that they are fighting for, or like the famous other things that are being done in the southeast. They always trace it because it's being held. But he himself is a peaceful person, and he has said it. And when he has indicated interest of out of court settlement, I think what else do we need? That means that he's also willing for peace. He's also concerned about what is happening, concerned about insecurity and others. So I think the best approach would be to get him out, and let us see if that will still continue. And I believe that if he comes out and people see he's out, and not just barely doing politics with his name and going to do this and that around him, we should remove politics aside. When politics comes, we play politics. And the people will decide where they are voting and where they are not voting. Instead of that, let us face facts. There is insecurity in the land. There is insecurity in the southeast. If you see any mode at which that will be tackled, why don't you exploit that opportunity? That is the area. And having looked at it, that security is everybody's business. Security is the whole government approach towards security. Is that security is everybody's business, including yourself and myself. And it's that quota we are just doing. Please, the federal government, can you please help out to release him, and let us see if there's any other reason why there is insecurity. If you go towards some other area of the country, you can.
There are those who.
Yes.
There are those who wonder if Nnamdi Kanu still wields as much influence as to causing some level of disruption in the security in the southeast, upon his release, because of the Simon Ekpa factor, which many say now that has now compounded the situation.
Well, you will only identify that when he's out, not when he's still inside. That's what I think. And by the way, you don't hear of Simon before now. So I think if he's released, then that question will be right or wrong. At this moment, it is neither right or wrong till he's out. So I don't know the splitter group. I don't know how many they are. I don't know, but let him be released first. Then we should be able to know. The question will now be answered that it is that he controls this number or that he doesn't control this number. But the basic thing is that he's incarceration for a long time. It's also part of it cannot divorce it from the security in the southeast.
And if, for example, this, because there is, he is also asked, and then they're looking to say.
So my people, ask yourself why. Why every time, I have played about 2 videos now. You can see the direction the journalists are asking their guests the question about if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in charge. About Mazi Nnamdi is in charge. That I did a program. So is it not last week? And I said, what they are doing with Simon Eba is at the same time helping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is the fact. Because Nigeria government is doing all those things to try to find a way or to see if there is any person that will topple Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that will match Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The more they are doing all those their propaganda, all those things they are doing in Biafra land, the more people are developing love for on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the more people are calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the more people giving trust on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the more people believe on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is the fact. No, more Mazi Mazi na-ekwu nwa ekwensu, onwe onye ifu wee bido nwanne mmadụ. Anyị na-afụ ilu mmadụ anya ebe a. You are agwụnụ the truth. It's two sides of coins. The more Nigerian government is doing whatever game they are playing with Simon Eba, at the same time, they are lifting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu up and up and up. Nobody can match Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody. Because, you know why? Because he was born for this. He was born for this. And that's why he said he was born into the family he came from. Oh, when the guy didn't even when the more guy am. Oh, when the ball, in my ball, the name with their way of life. When the mother can have a ball, all two different things. So, Nigerian government, they know what they're doing. But they have found out that nobody can match Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, I want to bring you a video again. This one is more important between the Oroneze spokesperson and the Yoruba man. But before then, let's listen to P2B before we go into that. Let's listen to P2B. Today's program is about to bring videos to tell our people what is going on. Then MHA Ayetindi Otimbolombo. Let's do the needful first.
Government is security of life and property. It is the foundation in which people can actually live in a nation, because nobody can stay in an insecure place. And it is worrisome what is happening in Nigeria, waking up every day with killings, kidnappings, abductions, and everywhere, which has now made Nigeria one of the most insecure places on the surface of the earth. In fact, it's leading to a failed nation. And that requires an urgent attention of everybody. In the Southeast in particular, again, that is the same situation. As I thank the government for their effort, there is need to do more by all leaders to ensure that we tackle this menace. In the Southeast, I urge the various government members, I said, while thanking them, to come together as a family. There's need for the governors of the Southeast to work as a family, to be able to tackle that. I'm saying that from the little experience I had when we were there. It is important. And even checking the harsh economic conditions now, even in development and economic agenda, I want to see the Southeast governors work closely more as one, because they can do. And I believe they know each other, they can interact. We want to see them come together. We want to see them bring this entire zone together. And I'm preaching the same thing of other zones. While the federal government has far that overshadows everybody, the various zones should come together. In the Southeast in particular, it is very urgent. I'm again saying from my little experience, in which they can call meetings, even meetings at times of those of us who were there. This is very important. I don't see anything why his continued detention, quite frankly. Especially as the law, the courts have granted him bail. Government must obey the law. Rule of law is an intrinsic asset that we must cherish and live with. And I've said I'm going to discuss with every agitator. And I use the same opportunity to play to government to ensure that all those who are in similar conditions are released and discussed with. Doing things that are arbitrary and not within the law. I'm against riots. I'm against destruction of government assets. I'm not against peaceful protests. But it must be for reasons, not for interest. Often a time here you see protests being to satisfy a particular interest. It must be properly articulated. There's things that is happening that is against and properly directed. Properly articulated and properly directed. So you don't go. I recall when people were saying they're protesting against police or any other organization of government, and I said to them, no, let's deal with the leadership. If we have good leadership, their agents can be bad. But what happens here is that Nigerians say, oh, our problem is police, our problem is EFCC, our problem is ICPC, our problem is army. No, the problem is the leadership. If the leadership is, if the leaders are competent, have the capacity, doing the right thing, their agents will toe in the line. And that is what I want. I want to see these things that are properly organized. I want to see people listening. And I'm using the same opportunity to say, all those who are being held because of, say, SARS protests and everything, or because of freedom of speech or journalists, should please be released immediately. We're a democratic country. People have a right under the Constitution to express themselves freely under freedom of speech. They have also right to peacefully protest. And we must listen to them. We must listen to those who say they are not happy. That's why it is a democratic nation. We should stop acting dictatorial and behaving as if it is not a democratic country. I know we're in a state capture, but then we should act in a manner that shows some decency. We politicians are preoccupied by election. That's not what I'm talking about. How do we reduce the price of food? Our people are dying of hunger. How do we make life conducive for the poor Nigerians? How do we make sure that people earn more money in order to live? How do we put people out of poverty? That should be our concern, not forming mega party or this thing. If forming mega party is to be able to provide what I'm saying now, I'm all for it. If it is about state capture so we can start continuing the same consumption, no. But if it's to move it to production, yes.
So, Biafrans, you can see all walks of life have called for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because they know that what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing is the right cause. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for his people. Now, let's go to this one. Is very interesting, very interesting. This one between the Igbo spokesperson and a Yoruba activist. Want to know? Let's go there. Let's go there.
Senators from the southeast part of Nigeria have convened a meeting, or had convened a meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi SAN. That meeting was to demand the release of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra group, Ipob, Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu. Well, the federal lawmakers, numbering about 15, were led to that meeting by Senator representing Abia South, Eyin Naya Baribe. The meeting between the lawmakers and the Attorney General came just some hours after the governors from the Southeast region resolved to approach President Bola Tinubu to beg for Nnamdi Kanu's freedom. They had addressed a press conference led by Governor Hope Uzodinma, informing the public about that. Also, earlier, about 15 members of the House of Representatives from various parts of the country urged President Bola Tinubu to free or release the detained IPOB leader. And tonight we're asking, should Nnamdi Kanu be released by the federal government of Nigeria? Well, of course, that means they have to drop the charges against him. In the studio to discuss this, Razak Olokoba, public affairs analyst. Joining us virtually, Right Honorable Chief Chiedozie Alex Ogbonia, PhD. He is the National Publicity Secretary of Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide. Gentlemen, good evening to you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Chief, good evening to you, sir. Ndewo.
Yeah, how are you? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. All right, Chief, what sort of political agreement do you think could be reached, with the federal government, between Kanu and the federal government, to secure his release?
Yeah, the political agreement we are looking at is where the federal government will understand. I think Nnamdi Kanu is like, they're looking at Nnamdi Kanu represents what is happening in the southeast of Nigeria. It represents the agitation by the whole youth of the southeast. It represents the level of unemployment. It represents the marginalization of the people of the Ipob. It represents how people are aggrieved about what is happening in Nigeria, how the Igbos are treated. So when we're talking about a political solution now, it's how to bring to an end some of this all this injustice that are meted to the Ipob. We're talking about political solution. We're talking about how there will be equity in Nigeria. How the Igbos will always get their turn in all circumstances that are affecting Nigeria. How Nigeria will remember the Igbos were the founding fathers of this country. And ever since then, we have been part of building the country. Everywhere you find us, we are trying to develop all the growth of this country. It is the kind of political solution we are looking at. When Nigeria will understand, or people will understand that Igbos are so sidelined by their lives, maltreated, and suffered all forms of injustice and exclusion from the federal government. So that's a political solution. So when they understand it and begin to assuage people and begin to correct some of these things in the past, and they will calm the nerves, and some of these agitations will reduce. So that's what we are looking at when we talk about political solution.
All right. Razak Lokoba, Nnamdi Kanu has proven to be, a flight risk in the past, jumping bail once or twice. Are you sure that this man, Nnamdi Kanu, will live up to any such political agreement that can guarantee his release?
Well, thank you very much for that question, because that is the angle people will naturally bring on board anytime you talk about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Just like what Chiba said, there's a growing concern for what Igbos are going through in Nigeria. Just like there's a growing concern for what Yoruba people is also going for in Nigeria. I am the convener of the coalition of Odua Self-Determination Group, the umbrella body for the self-determination group in Yoruba land. And we have had causes to exchange our ideas and agitation with many of the actors of the Igbo struggle agitators, like Nwazuruke and several other of them. So, for me as a Yoruba man, I agree with the Igbo cause. And as much as I want a better life for Yoruba in Nigeria, I also want a better life for the people of Ijoland. I've taken part in numerous protests on the street of Port Harcourt for men, for the jokers, and also in the north also. I'm also for the better life for the people of the northern people. We don't want Nnamdi Kanu to turn into where ethnic groups in this country will be plotted against each other. And that's why we must recognize what Nnamdi Kanu represents. He represents the struggle of the Niger Delta people and the voice of the Igbos. Having said that,
Niger Delta people may not.
Sorry, Igbo people.
Southeast, yeah.
Sorry, Southeast.
I'm just saying they may not.
Thank you very much. I'm talking about Southeast, not Niger Delta. I'm talking about Southeast. It's a slip of tongue. But we have to set emotion aside, though. Flowing from the question that you have asked me, that there are things that we should not approach with emotion. I went to see Asai Doku when he was in detention. I went to see Ghana Dance when he was in detention. I went to many political detainees when he was in detention. Father Obasanjo made an attempt to see during the military era. So the right of people is our concern. And that's why everybody that is calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu need to do more. When I say we support your cause, the correctional facility officers will be profiling Kanu against any sentiment. If the submission of the correctional facility center is that what Kanu demonstrates while he is in detention is not appropriate for the president, he will not be released. No matter any sentiment, no matter how police want to play. And that's why everybody calling for release needs to do more. More of assurance. In line with what we have said, more of assurance that he has someone that can speak to him when he's out. He has someone that can guarantee that he's going to provide him at all times. The first time he was released, he took off, and when a few people were about to be apprehended, some senators and people who stood in for him, they were not picked up later, eventually. But everybody calling for it, including Edwin Clark, Anize, and everybody, must demonstrate an assurance to Nigerians that if he comes out, because the economy of Southeast is as important to me as the economy of the Southwest. We won't say that it's not our concern.
So you want the Southeast and those who are calling for Kanu's release must give assurances to the federal government that if he is out, there's someone that can talk to him and make sure that he...
Yes, that's what makes it complicated.
Chief Alex Obonia, what is your take on this? Do you feel that...
So, Biafrans, let's say something. Let's interject before Chief Alex Obuna we counter what he just said. You see, these are the people that are telling their people that they are fighting for them, but they are at the same time going into business with the Nigerian government. Remember, this man introduced himself. He says he was Oduduwa Republic convener, that's fighting for his people. And he mentioned that he went to go and see Gani Adams, and also Asai Dokubo and everything. These are the people that always come out to deceive their people, that they are fighting for them. At the end, they will go by the corner to go into business with the Nigerian government. And this man understood that Mazi Nnamdi is not that kind of person. That is why he was saying that people that are calling for his release must do more. That someone that will control Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, someone that can say, okay, don't do this, don't do that. Because they know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, nobody can stop his ideology, nobody can stop his mindset. And when he say we do something, we do something. So this man is telling Nigerians that the people that are calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu need to do more. That people that they need to do a lot of homework so that our leader can be controlled, and they will bring him to a Nigerian government ideas. Now, I want you to listen to the response from the spokesperson from Nnamdi. Let's listen to him.
It would be a difficulty, Nnamdi Kanu living up to the terms of any political agreement, and therefore the Southeasters need to do more to assure the federal government that they can talk to him and rein him in if needs be.
Well, this is an interesting question. I'm also happy that my friend there is in Yoruba. He is also aware that Sunday Boho was of similar disposition. He was released, and he's not causing mayhem. So while this kind of comparison now, what we're talking about is that Nnamdi Kanu, what Nnamdi Kanu is saying is that if you continue to treat my people with this kind of injustice and dignity, let my people go. That's the message. And about that political solution, if Nnamdi Kanu comes out and he begins to continue, if they continue to maltreat people, sideline people, and treat all with all forms of injustice, and the kind of right from somewhere. So when we're talking about political solution, we're looking at the government should look into what is happening in the South. They should look into the migration of the people of the South. But not 2023, the general election, that when it was clear it was the turn of people. Well, what happened? There were a lot of theories, there were a lot of shenanigans, a lot of other forms of conspiracies against people. When it was clear it was turn of the Southeast, these are not good. I want the kind of thing that Nigerian people should stop if they want Nigeria to move ahead. If Nnamdi Kanu is saying, all this instead of treating my people this way, it is better we go that we can survive elsewhere outside Nigeria. Is the message. And then we are talking about political solution. Thinking that if we release him today, it will be that. On the other hand, what my friend is saying that if you release him, the situation will be worse. It's not true.
That's what I said.
What they are trying to is the implication of what they are saying. How we should release that.
Can I? Chief. Chief. I don't think there's anybody outside Yoruba, Igbo land that has give sympathy to Igbo cause as much as I do. Go and check my record. But ethics, I'm talking about ethics of struggle.
We'll give you a chance to talk, okay. Chief, when we come back. Up next, we have a break, and when we return, we'll continue with this conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We continue with our conversation on Nnamdi Kanu and the calls for his release by leaders from around the country, especially in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Razak Olokobase with us, and Right Honorable Dr. Chiedezia Alex Obonia who is the National Publicity Secretary of Ohanese in the Worldwide Pan-Igbo Sociocultural Organization. Razak, before we went on the break, you were responding to...
I was trying to make a point
Chief's
that
response to you.
there's also the Igbo cause.
Okay.
The Igbo cause. Placed side by side with the Yoruba cause, the Fulani cause, and the Ijaw cause. In content and character, is the same thing. Arewa want a better life for the Fulani and Hausa people. Same thing, each ethnic group. Because Nigeria is a country of multi-ethnic nationalities. That's a fact we must admit. And if you run in that manner, if you say that you have numerous identity, it's not a minus, you must admit. And you will witness this kind of demand in a country like Nigeria, which is the case with everywhere in the world. That was what gave rise to the reason why Indians parliament speak 4 languages. Okay, so it's legitimate. But there's a but. So there's the Igbo cause, okay. But there's the person also managing the Igbo cause, who is mismanaging it, in the person of Nnamdi Kanu. And if you don't address that, the release of Kanu is so complicated that you need to do more than the making demand. And we have had an example of when he was first released and he took off. And indeed, he broke all the goodwill that the Igbo people have with total ethnic group in the country. You know what he said in his videos? Many alliances that the Igbo people had with so many ethnic groups. For instance, and for Igbo cause, whenever I'm doing this, he will know what role Wale Soyinka played. Okay. And up to today, prominent Yoruba leaders like Adebanjo, it's still with the organisation day, afternoon, and night. So in essence, what I'm saying is that it is very, very, very important to do more than that. Okay. What assurance you want? Sunday Igboho that he mentioned. Yes. Sunday Igboho is out. And things that people have concern about Sunday Igboho, he's no longer doing it. That's number one. Number two is that there's no time people will say, is he being questioned? We want to see him. They provide him. So emotions don't give freedom to political detainees. What gives is the technicalities of release. Okay,
let me allow Chief. Chief, what do you say to that? He says emotions don't give life to release.
Interestingly, my friend is full of contradictions. In the first place, he said Ijaw case, Yoruba case, they are not the same, my brother. Good Lord Jonathan was Ijaw, of that extraction. He was the president of Nigeria. The other time, you see Obasanjo of Yoruba, president of Nigeria. This time around, Tinubu, Yoruba, president of Igbo. Number two, you present yourself as an advocate for justice and equity and for somebody who sympathizes with the people who are suffering injustice of one or the other. At the same time, his argument is like slanting against the release of Nnamdi Kanu because he's fear, that perhaps if Nnamdi Kanu is released, he caused mayhem. It's not true. Okay, I assure you that Ohanese and people will ensure that Nnamdi Kanu, if well released, will definitely keep it to the terms of the release by the court of the Ministry of Justice. So there's no doubt that, but try to understand what I told you before. Somebody Nnamdi Kanu, not Nnamdi Kanu. If the maltreatment continues, if the marginalization continues, if the injustice against the Saudi continues, under Nnamdi Kanu will rise from somewhere. So what we are looking at, Nigeria will quite understand that there have been injustice to the Saudi. Lagos, we're in Lagos at Alaba, looking at Lagos demolition of property. After that, some other places, hard-earned money somebody used to build a house, demolish it overnight. So a lot of things are happening in this country. So when we are looking at political solutions, we are looking at where we can sit together. Where Nigeria will understand that the agitation by the Southeast people, that the agitation is rare and it's genuine. And so some of these things that we'll be looking at. So our cases are not the same thing. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Can I? Well, you see, in national TV, and the more we talk about issues like this, the more we are looking at the unity of Nigeria. Differences must be thoroughly discussed. And that's what we run away from. He said people's houses were demolished in Alaba. And facts were provided by Lagos State government. That's what just were the only ones being destroyed. If you have proof, well, we went out as members of civil society to do our investigation, and we discovered that all the demolished buildings contravenes the law. I want to assure Chief that anybody that is having issues of illegal demolition, you should approach us. We'll take the matter up. Then that's number one. Number two is that people witness a lot of things in any part of the world they go. And identity is the reason why you must know the region you are going into. When the border was killed, I blame all Nigerians that kept saying that we must push our identity aside. And I said, no. Nigeria is a religious country. Nigeria is a country with ethnic issues. So you must understand any region that you are going to. I have vehicles in Onitsha too. I had to take my vehicle away from Onitsha. I have 3 vehicles there. It doesn't load for 3 months. In Onitsha garage, it doesn't load for 3 months. And I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't say because I'm a Yoruba man, maybe people are not comfortable to ply my own vehicle. So I took it up. And I didn't turn it into a blackmail. So and I also have friends across the Southeast who find it very difficult to have certain documents to land. See, land is important anywhere in the world. If the Igbo people decide that we don't deal with our land, that's who you are. I don't blame you for that. But what we are saying is that anybody that accommodates other ethnic groups, once you get to their land, there must be conformity.
Okay, all right.
So for Nnamdi Kanu, as much as I also want him to release, I also am of the view that the chief's submission should be paramount in their, whatever they are saying, assurance.
Okay,
to the president,
Chief,
and to the nation.
Okay, Chief, is there a guarantee, as far as you're concerned, can you, as Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, give a guarantee that should Nnamdi Kanu be released, that he won't go back to his old ways, not the agitation, but probably if they're saying things like, people should take up arms against, the police, whatever you can carry and kill them. He's even attacked Ohaneze Ndigbo before. I remember those days because I was in Port Harcourt. So is there a guarantee? Can he be controlled, Chief?
Is he attacked Ohaneze how? Now, let me first clear what my friend was saying. Every Nigerian knows the truth. And part of the problem is that a young man like my Razak, I want to believe that by God's grace, you will grow a prominent Nigerian. But if you recall what happened before the election of last year, a lot of people were disenfranchised. Some of them were at the point they were threatened with a lagoon because they wanted to exercise their franchise and things like that. For Razak to come here and begin to tell the world that all this everything is fair in war, it's not the best. So I just want to clear that. At any rate, Igbo will have resilience. That the Igbo ingenuity and resilience and capacity to turn adversity into advantage is always there. No matter how far hard you push or the harder you push or the stronger we become. That's what I mean by resilient. Not even this being who we are. No, we are not. So before answering your question about whether people are afraid of what Nnamdi Kanu will do when it comes out, there's no basis for that.
Okay, Chief, very quickly, I just want to ask you a final question because of time. Whilst Nnamdi Kanu has been incarcerated, a new sheriff stepped into town. Yeah, Chief. Whilst Nnamdi...
They never perform against anybody. They are constantly saying it. But I still want to add, before we wind up, that, you see, at a point, and this have been called for discussion by the government. Who stops the government inviting Nnamdi Kanu or Ipob? Please, what's the basis of the grievances? What's the basis for the agitation? What stops it? This of using checkpoint all over the Southeast, stopping everybody going about.
Yeah, Chief Alex Obonia, just a quick one before you go. Chief Alex Obonia, please, just a quick one before you go. There's the issue of Simon Ekpa, who seems to be having control over the militant elements in the Southeast. Does Nnamdi Kanu still have that voice, that authority to tell them to cease fire and to stop the violence and the killing, the carnage, the kidnapping? Chief Alex Obonia, please, just a quick one before you go. There's the issue of Simon Ekpa, who seems to be having control over the militant elements in the Southeast. Does Nnamdi Kanu still have that voice, that authority to tell them to cease fire and to stop the violence and the killing, the carnage, the killing. Chief Alex Obonia, please, just a quick one before you go. There's the issue of Simon Ekpa, who seems to be having control over the militant elements in the southeast. Does Nnamdi Kanu still have that voice, that authority to tell them to cease fire and to stop the violence and the killing, the carnage, the kidnapping, and all that?
Well, when it comes to Ipob, the most prominent Ipob person known to us is Nnamdi Kanu. Any person can be anywhere and begin to carry on with his own functions, operations. When people don't come out on Monday morning, not because they're obeying whoever, and for the fact that non-state actors sometimes take over the streets, and because of that, they're afraid of their life, not in compliance. No person stays at home on Monday in compliance with some of these instructions or directives from somewhere. So, but ultimately, Nnamdi Kanu is opposed to sit at home, is opposed to violence, opposed to. He's talking about there should be peace. My people should not. There shouldn't be.
All right, Chief.
There should be.
Okay, Chief. So thank you very much.
So we must count. We must hold him by what he says.
Thank you very much, Chief Alex Obonia. He says if it's released within 2 minutes. Yeah, if it says it's released within 2 minutes, peace will return to the southeast. We'll have further conversations on this, but we have to go. Razak Olokoba, thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure, man.
Indeed. And of course, Chief Alex Obonia, thank you, sir, for your time. National Publicity Secretary Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide, of course, Razak is a public affairs analyst, amongst other things. Thank you very much. We'll be right back to talk about River State when we return. It's a fact.
So, my people, you know, I must appreciate Chief Obonia, the Ohaneze publicity person, you know, worldwide under Iwanyamu. I must appreciate you. You defend your people so good, so well. You defend your people so well. You can see the Yoruba man was telling us about how we have 3 vehicles in the southeast for 3 months. The vehicle did not load. All of them, some of them have this hate about Igbos. But it's not. We are not going to talk about it. We don't have the time for this now. But I want to establish one fact that these people find out a lot of videos I played today. Before the end of the program, the journalist must ask, does Mazi Nnamdi still have the voice? Did Mazi Nnamdi still have the voice? Did these people stay with Mazi Nnamdi? Why this question all the time? Why? I'm asking. Why this question all the time? The question, do you know why? Because federal government, they have planned, they created a parallel IPOB, the enemy within, the enemy external. They created another different group to see that they can ban Mazi Nnamdi, or they can push Mazi Nnamdi out of the way, because they know that Mazi Nnamdi is genuine for this cause. You can see the Yoruba man. He told us he's wanting to do the world in public, and these are men that always go in business with the Nigerian government. But they know that Mazi Nnamdi case is different, and that's why they're afraid. And I somewhat appreciate the Chief Obonia telling the whole world that the person we know is Mazi Nnamdi. When the man tried to tell him about Simon Ekpa, no. The man said anybody can bear any name he like. That the person they know is Mazi Nnamdi. So that's why when I tell people, even federal government have not condemned the activities of Simon Ekpa. People say, Mazi is me attack. One day, I'm not attacking him. I'm a wound the truth. What is praying? All the shenanigans from federal government to see that they will ban Mazi Nnamdi, it proved impossible. Impossible. Now, just because I don't have much time, because I'm going to do another program on Jonathan. That's why I'm watching this program. Now, let's listen to our own barrister, one of Mazi Nnamdi legal team, Maxwell Opala. Let's listen to him. His interview on AIT Kakaki. It's very important. Then after that, we'll call it a day, and
to be declared, and we have Labour has already reached its 410 seat predicted figure. Labour in the lead with 410 seats, Conservatives with 119, the Lib Dems with 71, the Scottish National Party with 9 seats, the Sinn Féin, that's the Northern Ireland Party, with 7, and others with 28. In these others, it's significant to note that Nigel Farage and his Reform Party, they actually got 4 seats.
Just 4 seats,
and, you know, I was made to understand that Nigel Farage, this is his 8th, previous 7th.
Well, it's just, I think it's a leg into the, see how that works out for him.
But one thing that is for sure is that Keir Starmer is the next Prime Minister.
Particularly on the matter, and said that it had to be a matter of urgency. And this morning we are talking about why lawyers opted out of court, settlement, and there is a discussion to this effect between Kanu's lawyers and the prosecution, especially the Attorney General of the Federation. Well, we'll see what the matter is, and we have with us here in the studio to look at the nexus between the move of Kanu's lawyers and the political leaders calling for his release. And would also want to know whether his lawyers for sure are considering conditional release, and whether his release will bring lasting peace to the Southeast. And we'll be discussing this, and we're joined by Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Maxwell Okpara. Maxwell is also a human rights lawyer. You're welcome, Maxwell.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Nigerians.
Okay, nice to have you. The Nnamdi Kanu issue there's been a lot of discussion of late, and it's popping up in the news here and there. Is that any reason to suggest that we are inching closer to his release?
Yes, of course. I want to start by saying that Nnamdi Kanu never begged for settlement, because in that there is no charge against him, in quotes. But after revealing some facts, after revealing some circumstances and some happenings, and in line with the Supreme Court admonition in the judgment, the Supreme Court advised that this matter can be settled through political means. Also, in exercising her right under Section 17 of Federal High Court Act, the judge also advised that we can initiate the settlement. So we advised our client in line with that. Considering the fact that on his own, IPOB is a human rights organization fighting for self-determination. Now, taking advantage of the fact that he has not been around, some people have decided to use the name to do some other things. And if you recall, that was in February when I traveled to Europe. So he instructed that I should try to see Simon Ekpa.
Who's in Finland, I think it was.
Yes, Finland, that I should go to Finland to see Simon Ekpa, and I should advise him. Remember that he has written with his handwriting. So Simon Ekpa said he wrote that thing with AK-47 on his head, that you can only believe if Nnamdi Kanu is out. So after my program, I contacted him. I said, please, I want to come and see you. How do I get across to you? He said, where am I? I said, I'm in Germany. He said, okay, that I should go to Belgium and wait for him. I traveled to Belgium. I waited for him for 2 days. He said, let us talk on phone. I said, now, I'm and wait for him. I traveled to Belgium. I waited for him for 2 days. He said, let us talk on phone. 47 on his head, that you can only believe if Nnamdi Kanu is out. So after my program, I contacted him. I said, please, I want to come and see you. How do I get across to you? He said, where am I? I said, I'm in Germany. He said, okay, that I should go to Belgium and wait for him. I traveled to Belgium. I waited for him for 2 days. He said, let us talk on phone. I said, now, your leader, Mazi Nnamdi, whom you called your leader, said that he's not happy with you. I marshal out some points. Paramount among them is the economy in the Southeast in particular, and Nigeria as a whole, and the killings. So he said he disagreed with me, that Nnamdi did not send me, that I fabricated this story. So now I came back, I visited Nnamdi. I said, the young man said, except we are out, that's when he will believe you. So, and some other issues, going also by what the court has hinted, let it not be as if we don't want peace. Then also, Nnamdi also revealed that he will not get justice in Nigerian court. Yes, I left him yesterday around, I think around after 5. He has never missed words in saying that. He said that he will never get justice in Nigerian court. 2, that if Nigerian court even granted him and release him, the federal government of Nigeria will disobey. They have done it the first one, they have done it the second one, they have done it the third one. So that he has lost confidence in Nigerian judiciary. You are asking me the reasons why he decided to go in this manner. So also the killings in the Southeast is one of the things that is even breaking him down, because he only, he has no access to radio, no telephone, no news, no newspaper, no television. So we only visit him, tell him the happenings that is going around, and the thing is really affecting him. Not even his incarceration, because freedom, you don't get freedom on a platter of gold. Even the America you are enjoying today, UK you are enjoying today, people fought for it, people died for it, people suffered for it, even South Africa. And if you watch those freedom fighters, none of them spend anything less than 20 years incarceration. That one is not even bothering him, because these are the hazard, these are the issues you see in fighting for rights. So liberty is not something that you get on a platter of gold. Then another one is also the elders, the religious leaders, the traditional rulers.
So, Biafrans, this is one of Mazi Nnamdi legal team, Maxwell Okpala. You heard what he said. How Onyendu sent him a message, conveying message to Simon Ekpa through him. And we also, when Maxwell Okpala was in Europe, and according to Maxwell Okpala, he said he called Simon Ekpa. And Simon said, where are you? He said, I am in Germany. Simon said, okay, you go to Belgium. Sorry, my people, I must take this call now. So according to Maxwell, Pastor Maxwell, he called Simon. Simon said, okay, where are you? He said, I'm in Germany. It's okay. You go to Belgium and wait for me. And you travel from Germany to Belgium. He stayed in Belgium for 2 days in a hotel. And calling Simon again, calling Simon again. I am in Belgium for 2 days. Okay, Simon's okay. Let's speak in phone. Let's speak on phone. What manner of man is this? That's why now wound that go and they went inborn freedom fighter than only more freedom fighter only open inborn freedom fighter is not afraid of his death, his life. He's not afraid of life, his life. How can you tell someone to go to Belgium to wait for you? After 2 days, it's okay, let's talk on phone. And he passed the message from Onyendu, the man you call your leader, to you, and you say it's a lie. And what Simon is saying that Onyendu will be the lead, Onyendu we come to Finland to see him. Can you imagine that? One side did you for on our side Kiakamba. In as Onyendu, we come to Finland to release you, to hand over your government in exile. And we say no to it. Hold your movement, control your movement. You control your movement. Onyendu, well, everybody knows Onyendu. Onyendu will come to Finland to see you, to negotiate what to you. Onyendu will come to Finland to negotiate what to you. Hold your movement. Continue going the way you're going. We are under leadership of Mazi Nnamdi. I am our leader. We know our leader. So, Biafrans and Nigerians also, you can see Mazi Nnamdi cannot have a clean heart. Nobody knows that Mazi Nnamdi can even send message, personal message to Simon Ekpa through Master Opala. Nobody knows. Remember what Onyendu said. Simon, don't let devil enter you. That thing on the make or not made today. So you can see all those videos I played. And end of the day, they will ask their visitor, did Mazi Nnamdi have the capacity to control the Southeast? Did the people still love Mazi Nnamdi? Why are they asking this question? Because of what is going on, what Simon Ekpa is doing. And I told you guys, the federal government have not even condemned Simon Ekpa activities. Now, the last video before I go, because I don't want to take this video up to 4 hours or 3 hours, because I'm coming on Jonathan. The last video I want to play, I want you to see how people love Mazi Nnamdi, how people are saying that Mazi Nnamdi is the true prophet. Let's listen to this video before we go. This will be the last video.
Connect riots. There's a news going on that Tinubu will soon receive bill that will lead to the division of Nigeria into 8 regions, and this is coming after reports as it that regional meeting has started.
On this 12th day of the month of June, the year of our Lord 2024, a democracy day in Nigeria, we inaugurate this committee of Ohaneze Ndigbo, by the power conferred on me by the entire Igbos worldwide. This committee is going to work on the restructuring on Ohaneze or Igbo position on how Nigeria should be restructured, how Nigerian position should be restructured.
Some are fighting for division, while others are fighting for a better country for each and every one of us. And it was stated that the South governors had met to decide whether they are also going to join us in bringing this to reality, and they have to meet again in order to come to conclusions, just like the Igbos too. And it's as if everyone is no more fighting for one Nigeria, because according to reports, Tinubu might approve the bill and he might not. And I want you to watch this video of Nnamdi Kanu. I think at this point we are going to consider this man as a prophet, because everything he said some years ago is now happening. Literally everything he said in this particular video. To meet again in order to come to conclusions, just like the Igbos too. And it's as if everyone is no more fighting for one Nigeria, because according to reports, Tinubu might approve the bill and he might not. And I want you to watch this video of Nnamdi Kanu. I think at this point we are going to consider this man as a prophet, to meet again in order to come to conclusions, just like the Igbos too. And it's as if everyone is no more fighting for one Nigeria, because according to reports, Tinubu might approve the bill and he might not. And I want you to watch this video of Nnamdi Kanu. I think at this point we are going to consider this man as a prophet, because
the guy was saying that everyone is not fighting for one Nigeria anymore. That he wants you guys to watch the video of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That at this point, that they believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the prophet. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the prophet. They want to compare Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to who? To who? Who do you want to compare Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to? And remember, Onyendu said, he will join you, he will abandon his son and join you. But Ayaka from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Ayaka from. So let's also play this video a bit before we call it a day.
Everything he said some years ago is now happening. Literally everything he said in this particular video. Let me also say this, it is not only the Igbos, the Yorubas and the Hausas too are meeting, and this simply means everyone is now fighting for the same goal, a bill that will divide Nigeria into 8 regions. Actually, this is not a fake news, because a lot of people are just hearing about this so-called bill for the first time. So let me brief you. This bill, if it will be allowed to happen, there will be no more presidency, there will be only parliamentary system, and the bill will give each region the avenue to manage their own affairs, securities, and also have control over their own resources. But the big question that deserves an honest answer is that, will Nigerians or our leaders allow this to happen? If you are totally in support of this bill or against it, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And like I said, regarding the prophecies of Nnamdi Kanu that are now coming to pass, like I said, I don't know if that is actually a prophecy or it's just like what he had seen so far. Here is the full video, and I believe at the end of this video, you're definitely going to come up with a conclusion whether Nigeria should strive to become one nation or division is the only way. And before that, please do it to support this channel by subscribing to this YouTube channel today. It is totally free, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss any updates. And please help us to like this video as you are watching so that YouTube can recommend it. Thank you very much for subscribing and liking the video. Now enjoy, and don't forget to let us know what you think about everything at the comment section.
This is what I want to guide the thinking of all our people. I want it to guide our understanding of what is happening in the zoo, and to understand also the spiritual dimension which we have chosen to pursue this very noble cause. These are the things that I want you to understand this very evening, that Nigeria has expired. They look at Tinubu, for example, what the Yorubas are going through on his account. Look at how the Christian minorities in the north are being slaughtered and brutally massacred by the Janjaweed elements of the Caliphate. Devotion to keeping people who shouldn't be one together in one monstrous entity called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, believe you. And it started to happen already. It is happening already. I warned you and I told you, you may disregard the agitation for Biafra and tag it as nothing. Because you came, you saw, you conquered, and you colonized. But I'm warning you today, if you continue, the wrath of God will be upon you. As I warned the zoo many, many years ago, if you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia. And today it is happening. And if you have not applied for your Somalian visa, please try and do so. Should I say Somali visa? Try and do so as quickly as possible, because the zoo is on the path of destruction, and there is nothing man can do to reverse it. Mark today's date and what I'm telling you. Nigeria will be destroyed beyond human comprehension. So says the Lord of hosts. Anything I tell you here is gospel. Anything I open my mouth to tell you must come to pass, because Almighty determined that we should come. And we have come to preach this very gospel in truth and in every honesty. And I want Britain to understand this today. If you stand as an obstacle on the path of Biafra freedom, you will be destroyed. The same way that the late dead Buhari tried. Buhari tried to stop Biafra from coming. Today he's in a shallow grave in Saudi Arabia. Not only that, that kingdom he was trying to build is now shaking. That very kingdom, that very Fulani Caliphate, the Fulani takeover of Nigeria is in tatters. Because we are here, or should I say, Chukwukikabiama determined that we should come. And nothing, absolutely nothing is going to stop us from performing the will of the Almighty. Today, I can tell you categorically that in the United Kingdom, the First Minister of Wales, part and parcel of this United Kingdom that colonized, enslaved, subjugated, and still colonizing the zoo called Nigeria till today, a part of Britain have now said that they're going to divide. They will leave. Scotland will leave. Wales will leave. Northern Ireland will join the Irish Republic. And you only have the Little England at last. And when all these things are happening to them because of their pride and ego, they will not acknowledge that the work they did against the children of God in Biafra land is what is responsible for their demise as a once great nation or a once great people. They are also on the path of decline, and nothing can reverse it unless they stop meddling in the affairs of Biafra. As I told you earlier, Almighty God in heaven has a way of punishing his children. And we
So Biafrans, yeah, for those of you that are watching me from YouTube, if you have your question, please, you can send your question in now, because few minutes now we're going to wind down. And those in Facebook, if you have your question, you can send your question now, then we can treat it. We can look into it. So, well, and let me also send a link. Anyone want to come in to contribute, you are free to do so.
They have been roundly punished, believe you me. If you have to be subjugated under the very cruel, barbaric rule of Fulani Janjaweedism, you will understand what we are talking about. As I'm speaking to you right now, most villages are under siege. There are killings and rapings, abductions and murder going on right across the length and breadth of the Zoological Republic. But they cannot understand what is happening to them. They know that the problem of insecurity in Nigeria is intractable for the simple reason that they have failed, should I say, to allow Biafra to go. The sooner they understand this or realize this, the better for everybody. But I'm not sure they will, because they are very stubborn. And as God hardened the heart of Pharaoh to fail, so are they also going to fail. And that is why those of them who are in Benue State, that is why the likes of Governor Autumn or the young man who was mouthing his rubbish a day or two ago concerning the deployment of Eastern Security Network into Lower Benue is in for a very, very difficult and horrible experience of their lives. Demanded into the north that you have Igbo people today answering Igbo names, speaking Igbo language, who are answering to Londoners, an abomination before God Almighty in heaven. I will not allow it to continue. Those Igbo speaking parts of Benue State is part and parcel of Biafra, part and parcel of the eastern region. And should anything happen to them, if you fail to control Fulani incursion into that very territory, then ESN will continue to do their work. And I have commended them earlier and allow me to do so again at this very moment. I commend the men and women, not just of our high command, but also of the Eastern Security Network that successfully pursued and apprehended a notorious Fulani bandit by the name Muhammad Isa.
So I think here is much we can take on this gospel of our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He's a fearless leader. He stands tall before his enemy. He is the only man when Fulani hear his voice, all of them get shaking. They are shaking. They get shaking. They hide under under the table. He's the only man that you cannot compromise. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And again, let me play this video before we go. This last one, for those of you that are still fighting for one Nigeria, I want you to listen to this video and tell me if you are proud to be a Nigerian, or if you are proud to fight, if you are so proud fighting for one Nigeria. Listen to this video. Watch this video, please. Watch this video. It's very important. Watch this video. Watch this video.
People will recover those things from. For instance, there was this case of somebody will recover 80 S-Class Mercedes-Benz car, brand new. Houses, farms, motorcycles, and so forth. In a house in Jabi, under information, we got intelligence, and we went there, we saw all those things. I wrote to the customs, the DG of customs, do these people pay custom duties on these vehicles? 80 brand new S-Class, armored plated. The CG of customs said no, they didn't pay. I wrote to Federal Inland Revenue Service. These people pay tax. If you are importing, if you have this kind of vehicles, if you have money to buy this kind of vehicles, you should pay enormous tax to the Nigerian government. They say no, they don't have any record of them paying tax. So we went to court. We got an order of official, and then the court asked us to, we should take custody of those things. It's interim for official, pending the hearing of the case. So I did it. I did a memo to the Attorney General to brief him of what we were doing. But later on, the Attorney General said that all the cases are investigated. They never mandated me. One of them was, came through Panama Papers. You know about the Panama Papers? Mm-hmm. A Nigerian senator, former military governor, was mentioned that he has properties in offshore islands. Since I didn't have the structures to investigate this issue, which is overseas, I went to the DG, NIA, said, please, let us work together to do this investigation. And they did the investigation. The report was sent to me. I sent one to the president and I sent one to the Attorney General that this man has over 200 million pounds in the offshore islands.
A former governor, a sitting senator.
He's no longer in the Senate.
No, at the time.
At that time, he was a sitting senator, but he had been president of the Nigerian Senate.
But nothing happened.
Not till today. What of the $69 billion? I got a letter, I didn't prompt them, from an American law firm saying that they have assets or access to a bank account in Texas that has over 69 billion US dollars. Proceeds from stolen crude oil. And the 9 billion, 69, the proceeds from the crude oil is 60 billion. The 9 billion is, they mentioned the name, Patrick Aziza, who was National Security Advisor. And I thought it was beyond me. So I wrote to the president that this is what this firm has, alleged. Yes. That they are asking for money, that if we make some more payment available, that they will give us the bank, not the holders of the account number, the bank accounts, and so forth and so on. So I went to the president and said, approve, so that we can recover this money. 69 billion, it's a lot of money. Of course, nothing came out of it.
Up to now.
I also did a letter to Attorney General to brief him. But do you know what he said? The day he saw my wife, he laughed in a very sarcastic manner. I think Obla claimed that he will recover 69 billion US dollars. As he recovered the money, he was being sarcastic. How would I recover the money when you didn't act as the Attorney General? Somebody has said, look, we have $69 billion of Nigerian money in a bank account in America.
And the government did not take action.
Nothing. Look, it's in the media. If you look at Punch published the story. Punch published the story. Even when Buhari was in office, they did. I think if I would download it and send it to you, nothing was done.
It feels like the government you work for was a failure in that respect.
Why I have said so, that I was disappointed, because I believe so much in, the former president, and I worked passionately for him.
But would you attribute the underdevelopment of our country today to corruption?
Why not? Look, if you can, somebody can take $69 billion out of Nigeria. If we have $69 billion, our universities will change, our polytechnics, our secondary schools, we'll have water.
How bad is corruption in the Nigerian government or in the Nigerian system?
Some of the things I recovered were returned back to, the people will recover those things from. For instance, there was this case of somebody with
Biafrans, for those that are fighting for Nigeria, fighting to defend one Nigeria, do you have this man? What he said is, at the end, he said the things he fought for and discovered and recovered from those people, they were returned back to those people, to those criminals. Now, are you proud to be a Nigerian? You that are fighting to defend Nigeria, are you proud? You that are fighting against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for fighting for his people to have a good life, to live as a human being, are you proud to be a Nigerian? Do you know what is $69 billion? $69 billion on a bank in America, in Texas. And he mentioned the man's name. And he also talked about 200 million pounds. Now, all those money, where are they getting this money? From Biafra land. All those money they are looting. Looting from where? From Biafra land. 3 states in Igbo land. Producing states. 3 states in Igbo land. Abia State, Anambra State, Imo State. They are 3 all land. Then in the coastal area, all those money is from there. We could remember the time they tell us that all the money for crude oil is nowhere to be found. Ebe Kodi, in America. Na bank ebe, na Texas in America. And you are fighting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You are against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You are against we that are pushing for freedom, for we to have our country back from these criminals. This video, I will do justice to it, because we have to wind down now. So, dear friends, I didn't see any question and nobody is coming in. I thank you for listening. Today's, this program is all about to play videos, to use videos to tell us one or two things. This is Mazi. Like I said, I'm coming up again for Jonathan. If I cannot come up, maybe it will be tomorrow. But Kai Jonathan Otimbudumbo, Kai bought Jonathan Kiwe. Oh, Mazi Dakus, it's only better now. Okay, Mazi Dakus, okay. Even I am on this thing, the link there now. It can come from either YouTube, or it can come in from YouTube or Mazi. Okay, come in. Can you just maybe few minutes? Can you help us, because before I get to the next program again, I'm waiting. So now, one of our comrades want to come in. So you have something to say. So let's wait for him. So for those of you that are fighting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for those of you that are fighting us, that are fighting for our freedom, are you proud to be in Nigeria? $69 billion in US bank. And that's $9 billion. That guy that take that money there, if that guy starts spending $1 million each day, or man see that money, he will not end, end that money before his death. Or man see that money for one. If he starts spending $1 million each day, he will not spend that money finish before you go to the other world, another world. And guess what? American government know what they are doing, because they know that at the end of the day, ndị Igbo kwuru okwu that na onwere iwe oke ya eme akpalize inside ọtacha onye ọs na-eme ọbụla. American government understood that guy cannot spend that money before his death. And when that guy is gone, that money making or not back to American pockets, the government. They know what they are doing. $69 billion, not even 200 million pounds they're talking about. This is $1 billion. And you are here to tell me that we that are fighting for our freedom, we don't know what they are doing. You are here to tell us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for freedom of Biafra and for other people. You don't know what he's doing. You are against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi, that is, please, we are waiting for you. Come in. So no, if there's anyone who want to come in again, you can as well come in. Let's have little time, then we call it a day. Then if you want to send your question, you can send your question. It's very important. And please share this program and to your WhatsApp group. And for those of us in YouTube, thank you. We have a lot of people watching us from YouTube. That is nice. So in our fight against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, okay, let me also play this video before our guests will come in. You guys know about Udene Chukwuka of Ebu, that is working, is so proud to be in Nigeria. He's working with Nigeria government against his own people. What's happening to him? Remember what Mazi Kanu said. Mazi Kanu said, leave that guy alone. Don't touch him. Today, Nigeria is happening to Chukwuka of Ebu. Nigeria is happening to him. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting is happening to Chukwuka of Ebu. Remember, Onyendu said, work with Nigeria government and come home with shame. Chukwuka of Ebu have taken a lot of our people to another world. Chukwuka of Ebu, but today what's happening to him? Now let's listen to. Remember again, the same Chukwuka of Ebu went on protests, calling Nigeria government to hang our leader, calling death on our leader. But today, that death today. I want you guys to listen to this video from Chukwuka of Ebu, from his own man, Heli Chimezie, the man that always supports him. He's lamenting. Nigeria is happening to him. Hold on. I need a laptop. I think I will get myself a laptop because it's maybe overloaded and uh, the capacities cannot withstand anymore, Uh, so, no. Mazi Dakus, I can see through this thing here. Let me kick one out. I can see you come in with two this thing, Please, Biafrans, if you can hear me, just comment on comment section, please. Mazi Dakus, I can see your two this thing. Can you lock one? Can you lock one out? Hello, Mazi. No, let me take all of them out. Mazda Cruz, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Mazi is Miss.
Mazda Cruz.
Good evening. Yes, Mazi is Miss. Can you? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? No. I think
But you're still in the dark. You're still in the dark. Yeah, man, even I can hear you, but you're scream. Yeah, yeah. And man, not even able, but you're scream in the dark. Okay, so mm, let me also play this video. This video again from let's listen from this guy.
Lawyers, Chambers, and that on Sahara reporters that he was coughing up blood.
Mazi, can you hear me? Mazi, na even neku. Mazi Dakus. Mazi Dakus, na even neku now. Mazi Dakus, if you can hear me, go out and come in. Go out and come in again.
We swear, working forever.
While in detention, and sadly, it is Ijele, an attempt was made on his life. The only thing is the hospital where these tests have been run, and for the record, for close to a week, he's been in critical condition. He's been in hospital admission. Ijele has no history of underlying health issue. He has no history with anything kidney. But at this minute, his kidneys has been, the substance they poisoned him with in the correctional center has affected his liver and has affected his kidney. That today, my brother and friend Chukwu Kofebu is undergoing dialysis. These are difficult times for us. I've tried as much as to hold myself together. And I'm putting this on record. Whatever happens to Chukwu Kofebu, Ebuka Obi should be held accountable. The Nigerian Correctional Center, Ikoyi, they need to be investigated. How somebody who was ill and healthy in their facility got poisoned, even if they are not releasing the results. Ijele has no underlying health issue. He has never had anything relating to kidney. But from the information available to me and to those of us who are privy to information, his liver, is attacked. His kidney, I can tell you these guys, for the records, Ijele has undergone dialysis twice, and we're looking for him to go on other dialysis. From the tests that were run, some foreign substance we are seen around his kidney area. And I've tried to hold this because I understand he has family, he has loved ones, but then this has to be said. And those of us who are close to the cycle, we know how much we battled with these guys all the way from Nasarawa, when it was in Nasarawa Kefi Correctional Center, all their malicious activities, all they try to do, he had no such issues. He has never suffered anything relating to, in his medical history, all of a sudden in Lagos, where, he was remanded. We had no source, to safeguard his food and his water or things he eats. He has no family, and he has no means of that in Lagos. So basically, he solely relied on eating from, I think, the restaurant or whatever facility. And he started feeling unwell a couple of days. And, it became so bad about 2.
Let me stop here, Biafrans, this Anofia, his name is Henry Chimezie. Is one of Chukwu Kofebu major supporters. This guy also calling on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be by, calling Nigeria government to hang Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You can see, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, leave him alone. Today, the same Nigeria is protecting, is hitting on him. No, we are going to do justice in this video, not now. Like I said, I cannot, maybe it's network stop Mazi from coming in, Daku from coming in. Maybe in another program we may come in. So Biafra, to prepare for the next program is very important. They won't.